So here we'll add the details like the hatch pattern and annotations. So I'll start with the normal solid hatch pattern. So I'll select the hatch, go to solid and apply the solid hatch pattern right over here and close the hatch. Go to hatch again, click on this area. Again, we have the solid pattern, but since this part is further away from this one, so we'll increase the transparency in this case to give it a sense of depth. So I'll increase the transparency to up to 60, approximately up to that value, and close it. Now, to make the similar kind of situation here also, I'll select all of these railings which are further away from this one, and again in this case I'll apply a transparency of approximately 60. So in this case I'll just type that value, so 60, and enter, and now press escape, and there we have it. So that sense of depth can be achieved using this transparency value. Now let's go to this hatch pattern again and apply the solid hatch pattern right here. Well, this pattern need not have this kind of transparency, so let's just reduce it, but still we'll keep some transparency to make this look distinct with respect to this one. So maybe a transparency of 35 will be perfect for this case. All right, now we'll add the brick pattern. So let's go to hatch again and let's select our brick pattern. And there we have it, the brick pattern. So click in this area and look at this. So since we are working in a rotated environment, you can see that this one is rotated. So we are getting this kind of angle. So we need to get rid of this. And for that, select this angle value and change it to 90. Now the brick looks better. Actually, it looks normal now. And then hatch transparency and change it to 0. We don't want any transparency in this case for the hatches. And there we have it. That looks better. If you want to increase the scale of these bricks, you can do that, but in this case it looks better to me. I don't think that changes are needed here. So let's click on close hatch creation. All right, now let's go to this area, go to hatch again, and now I'll apply the AR shake pattern. So there we have it. Let's select it, select both of these areas. We need to change the scale, and maybe let's change it to 0.05, press enter. That looks better, but maybe you can change it to 0.03, and there we have it. That looks much better. Again, in this case, this is a little bit further away from this big brick pattern, so again we'll increase the transparency here also to approximately 40, and there we have it. So that's now added. So we've added the hatch patterns as per our requirement. Now if you want to add the ground level hatch, you can do that. You can make random splines, add the ground level hatch, and then get rid of that later on. Or you can add the dimensions now. But before adding dimensions, let's rotate this drawing properly. Right now it is rotated like this. We don't want it like this. We just want it on the single plane. So I'll select it all, go to rotate, click somewhere over here, and then rotate it to an angle of 90 degrees. There we have it. Let's select it once again, go to move and move it, well, here. Now I'll rotate my drawing, and there we have it. So we have this east elevation properly, and in this case we have made it with respect to the floor plan. We have everything properly here. Now let's go and add some dimensions. So go to the drop down and activate the layers. So I'll activate the dim as well as text layer. There we have it. So let's just move it a little bit towards right because it should not overlap the text. So select it, move it here. Now let's add the dims. So I'll go to dim layer, select the dimensions, and it will add the same kind of dimension style. And let's start adding it. So this point, then this point, there we have it, the first one. Press enter again, and this point here, and there we have it. Well, that's pretty random, so let's select the second one. So select it, this point and the point here. That will give it a proper value. You can add the thickness later on. Let's go to this and dimension again, and you can add your dimensioning here as well. So let's just do that. So again, I'm using these two references, and there we have it. All right, You know that we have taken this reference from the floor plan, so that's not needed. Height of this is also taken from the floor plan, there are gaps and everything. So for all of these we don't need any dimension, but we do need dimension for this part, and we also need dimension for this part. So there we have it. So everything seems normal up to this point, and all the dimensions, the required one at least, are now added. So in a similar way you can add as many dimensions as you want, and in this case if you want to bring all the remaining objects back in the drawing area, you can just go to this drop down and bring back everything like hatches and blocks. Now we have both of these objects in a single drawing. If you want it like this, that's fine, but if you want to separate them, if you want to put them on different drawings, then you can use right block to move this drawing on a different file. So I'll go to this insert option, and from this block definition I'll select this right block tool. Now select objects, click on pick point. Well, select a pick point for this object, maybe this one. Click on select objects and select the objects which you want to move to a different file. Now press enter, specify the location. So I'll specify desktop as the location, and here I'll just give it a name. So let's name it as east elevation, and click on save, and it will be saved there. Okay, and the drawing is now saved. So let's open the east elevation which we have on the desktop. So I'll go to open desktop. There we have it, the east elevation. Open it, and look at this, we now have only the drawing, the east elevation, which we created. So that's how you can save it as a separate file if you want, and that completes the east elevation drawing as well.